about to begin. I want to thank everyone for jumping on today. As we have more training, phenomenal training from our real estate partners. Today, we are honored and so happy to have one of our real estate partners from the Maryland area. Her name is Gersha Porter. When I had my first conversation with her, I knew that she was just an amazing woman, very knowledgeable about the real estate industry. Our spirits just immediately connected. I loved her energy. Um, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about her. She is a realtor. She's a speaker. She's a financial coach. And what I love about her is that she eliminates the confusion of clients, especially when you're buying a house for the first time. It can be very confusing. And what she does is give them key strategies to unlock the resources to buying their home or even selling their properties. She is the CEO. So I want you to let them know the magnitude of our real estate partners today. I know you always hear me praise them and always praising their real estate partners. And I'm doing that because they are all truly phenomenal. She is a CEO of Porter Premier Homes, and she's been in real estate. I know she looked like she's 20, but she's been in real estate almost 2 decades in the Baltimore real estate market. And so when you have that type of knowledge, this is the type of person that you want to just get your pen and your paper and just really, really just listen. She's really big on negotiating, price strategist. She's a communicator, marketer, mentor. She's all of the above. Um, she is, like I said, when I first met her, I knew right then and there that she was going to be the type of partner that we wanted and needed, not just wanted, but needed to have in 1,000 Black families. She talked about her clients, how much she cared about the clients, and our movement and the overall goal of 1,000 Black families. And she herself just newly launched a Own Again program that helps clients work with mindset, money, and moving into their home. So she's a phenomenal presenter today. We are so blessed to have Gersha Porter as one of our real estate partners. And let me just make it be known that she was one of the first when I first launched it. Is a difference. She was on the first. So the people in the first are like kind of like the people in a company that has made it move and have a personal um, attachment to making the movement move, not just someone that's associated, but a partner of it and want to see it be successful. So I want to introduce to you none other than associate broker Gersha Porter. Gersha, it is all yours, my dear.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roberta. Dr. Hosky is an amazing woman. If you haven't had an opportunity to get to know her, be it through her book, following her on social media channels, please do. You will understand the passion that she has that brought this program about so that you guys can continue to move closer to your goal of home ownership. So I don't have control of the audio. I'm just going to ask if you are not asking a question to please just mute yourself so everybody can hear.
Gersha, you have to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Hey, well, y'all just missed all of that. I want to just say welcome, welcome. Dr. Hosky is an amazing woman. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out her book, to follow her on social media, to get to know her more, you will know that this program is the foundation of this program is supported by a phenomenal woman, and being associated with it is truly a privilege for me. So I'm excited to meet all of you this evening. I'm seeing some names, I'm seeing some pictures, and if you get a chance to show me your face, that'll be outstanding as well, so I can kind of gauge how the presentation is going. So once again, we're going to talk tonight about home inspections. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat between myself and some of our other folks that are supporting the presentation. We'll make sure that we do answer your questions. And if we don't during the presentation, we'll have a chance towards the end where you can actually unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay. So we're looking forward to giving you the tools tonight to be real clear about one of the very, very important steps in your home ownership process, which is the home inspection. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen and share now. All righty. You guys see me? You see my screen with the number 1 up right now. If somebody could just put number 1 or put the word higher in the chat. I know that you
I see it. I see it. I
All
see
right.
it.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks so much, Dr. Hosky. So the first thing that we want to give you in terms of tips for your home inspection process is to hire an experienced home inspector. So a home inspector's sole responsibility is to provide you with the information you need to make a buying decision and to negotiate a fair contract going forward. So it's really the only way to get a thorough, unbiased third-party opinion about the state of the house that you're considering and that you've put a contract on. But not all home inspectors are created equal. Before hiring a home inspector, do your homework. Consider whether you want to go with a large multi-inspector firm or a small 1 or 2 person shop. And you may say to yourself, well, how do I even know who a home inspector is if I've never purchased a home before? So there are a couple of ways that you can go about doing that. One is you may talk to somebody who's purchased a home recently. So maybe in the last 3 to 4 months, and get a recommendation from that. You absolutely want to talk to your realtor. This is what they do for a living. So they have a network of home inspectors that other clients have had successful experiences with. So you want to check with your realtor as well. And then there is a website that will give you everybody who's a licensed home inspector in your state, and you can do your homework that way as well. So let's just talk a little bit about small firms and large firms. So in smaller companies, the owners are usually very experienced. They continue to inspect homes and they stay up to date on changes in the building industry and home inspection best practices. So additionally, what you want to look for in a home inspection company, buyers should ask and they should look and listen for different responses. So yes, you do want to interview the home inspector. And you can start that process even before you go under contract so that you will know exactly who you would like to use to inspect the property that you're going to buy. So there's a question that stands out usually that's pretty important. An inspector should demonstrate his understanding of your needs and be willing to go above and beyond the minimum requirements to give you the most comprehensive inspection report. So yes, after they physically inspect the property, they will be giving you a report, and not all reports are presented in the same manner. So while you are doing that homework, trying to figure out what inspector you're going to use, ask them to send you a sample report. That way you will know what that report will look like when you get them. The report, this is 2020, they all should have pictures. You're not going to remember exactly what the sump pump looked like, exactly what the window looked like that didn't open. So most inspectors today, they're going to take a picture and that picture will be included in your report so that you can reference it. Okay, so when they send you a sample, that sample should have some pictures in there as well. So hiring a top-notch experienced home inspector is one of the best things that you can do when you're buying a home. He or she will be your ally during this important process, and they can help you navigate the complexities of home defects and repairs. They're going to be the people that you may ask questions about the report after they've submitted it to you. You may be asking them questions during the actual home inspection. And then you may even ask them, well, what might it cost if I needed to repair this? What might it cost if I needed insulation in the attic? They can kind of give you an estimate of what improvements or repairs may cost you going forward. So number one, hire an experienced home inspector. Number two, do your own pre-inspection. So you might say, well, Gersha, what is a pre-inspection? Well, in your home buying search, you're going to be going around looking at houses. And when you look at houses, you will be using your own nose, your own eyes, and your own ears when you're in those properties so that you can figure out, hey, what's going on with this? So you can learn a lot about a house just by looking at it in detail. Doing your own visual pre-inspection will give you a better understanding of the home's condition and possibly identify issues you know you won't want to live with or that you won't want to repair. So when you're out touring properties, you want to pay attention to some things. It'll help you to identify areas you may want your inspector to pay extra attention to when you do go under contract. You might then say, well, I noticed during the tour that I kind of saw a stain in the ceiling of this particular bedroom. So when you come back for your home inspection, you want that home inspector to pay particular attention to that area because you noticed it during your home tour. Another thing, for example, if you hate light fixtures, will you want to update the cabinets later? So you'll be looking at some of those things, and those really are cosmetic things. But start making a list during your pre-inspection to begin planning for any maybe remodeling projects that you may embark on once you purchase the home. When you're touring homes, go through each room of the house and look at every element in details. You want to look at the walls. You want to look at the ceilings, the fixtures, the molding around the doors, windows, and any kind of cosmetic detail. You want to look for signs of water damage. So you say, well, how do I know if there was any water damage? Oftentimes you will see around the baseboard some wiggly lines, which may give you an indication that water had come up to a certain point. I know some folks are in parts of the United States where there are no basements. We have basements here in Maryland, so that is something that we can quickly see when you go into the area. Even if it's a finished basement, we want to look for any of those kinds of signs. You want to look for discoloration, something that may be different than the paint. You want to look for stains. Those are the types of things that you can see as you're touring properties, and you want to make a note of it. If you love this house, but you're just concerned about the stain, make sure that you bring that to the home inspector's attention. You want to look for evidence of foundation movement, and what might that be? Cracks in the drywall, nail pops, cracks along the grout or caulk lines. So just some things if the doors are misaligned. Now, some of these things, they just happen over time. If you purchased a property that's maybe 5 to 10 years old, it was new construction at one point, in around 5 years, you start seeing nail pops. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with the property. It's just something for you to be aware of and just ask more questions. Look at the condition of the toilets, the showers, the sinks. Walk around the outside of the house with your own eagle eyes as well. Look for sagging in the dirt, cracking, any damaged gutters, and definitely any peeling paint. So depending on when the property was built, you want to be concerned about peeling paint, whether it's 5-year-old peeling paint, or is this the original paint that is still on this particular property? So look at the chimney, look at as much of the roof as you can. We know we can't go up on the roof. That will be the home inspector's responsibility, but visually see what you can see. If the property is only 1 level or 2, you may be able to see some of that with your own eyes. So just pay attention to drainage, the foundation. Look for anything that just doesn't look quite right. See how well the landscape, the fence, any of the outbuildings, if they have sheds. If you're purchasing a home that may have a pool or an outdoor spa, have they been maintained? Do they look like they're maintained? And don't forget the garage. There are garages that are attached to homes, and some of them are detached. So when you're touring a home, before you make that offer, ask to see the garage. If it's not easily accessible, sometimes the seller may have left the key in the property. You want to take a look at those as well. Okay, so do your own pre-inspection with your eyes, You want to listen to creakiness, so you're going to use your ears. And then you also want to use your nose for smell. And I didn't even mention this earlier, but what are we looking for when we're taking our nose into the whole equation of a pre-inspection? Sometimes you can actually smell mold. So if you've experienced that before and you know what mold smells like, that's when your nose would come into play. Okay, so do your own pre-inspection. All right. Number 3, be neighborly. So you say, what do you mean be neighborly? Well, neighbors are often an important factor when deciding whether or not to buy a home. So you've already made an offer on the home, or let's say you're touring the neighborhood. They can also be a treasure trove of valuable information for a potential buyer. So if it feels right, just get out there and be friendly. When I'm showing homes to my buyers and I see a neighbor come in or somebody is walking the dog down the street, I'm always like, go ahead over there and say hi. They know that the house is for sale. They see the sign on the lawn. They may know the neighbor and know that they're relocating or they have already purchased a different home. So chat with them. You will be surprised what neighbors will tell you. So be neighborly. What do they know about the prior owners? Or if the home was rented, what do they know about those tenants? Do they know about any of the damage that may have been done to the property before? Were there ever, squirrels in the attic, bats in the attic? Do they know if there's ever been an infestation problem? Neighbors talk. Folks tend to share some of their experiences as fellow homeowners. So you just never know what they may share with you. So definitely say hi. Ask them, what is the neighborhood like? You've made a contract. When you toured the home, you may not have seen anybody outside to really kind of get that sense. Talk with them. Find out whether or not there have been any activities in the neighborhood. What do they do for families? All that kind of stuff. Is there a welcoming committee? How well do folks really take care of their properties? Talk to them. Now, don't stalk them and don't put yourself in danger. But don't be afraid to get friendly if you run across them, walking their dogs. This will also give you a feel for the neighborhood as well as in general. And it could be the beginning really of a friendship, because soon you may be living next to this particular individual or close by. So definitely be neighborly. Number 4, know what to expect and be there. Now, this part about being there, you may say, what do you mean be there? Of course I'm going to be there. Well, there are some buyers who actually say, do I need to go to the home inspection? Yes, you do. You need to hear firsthand from the home inspector what they are seeing, what they understand, and what they are recommending, not just what shows up in the report. Also, when the home inspector is going through your property that you're about to purchase, they're actually showing you and giving you tips around maintenance. They're going to show you how to change the filter in the furnace. They may show you some tips about the appliances that are there in the property, because one of the things, and I forgot to mention this earlier, the seller usually is not present during the home inspection. So you won't have the seller to ask questions to. You're going to need to ask those questions to the home inspector. So they're going to give you some tips. Definitely listen to that. If you've never experienced a home inspection before, or if it's been a while since you've experienced one, take some time to familiarize yourself with the process before it happens. Talk to your realtor. Let them tell you, what to expect the day that you go there. One of the things I love to tell my buyers is it's probably going to take at least an hour and a half to maybe 2.5 hours, depending on the size of the home, depending on how many bathrooms are in the home, to actually do the home inspection. So you want to make sure that you've taken off the afternoon or the morning, or it's a day that you're already off, that you're going to get an opportunity to not be in a rush, that you can actually stay there and get as much information as you can about this investment that you're about to make. So we recommend that buyers be there during the home inspection and at least towards the end. Right now with COVID, every home inspector operates differently. Some inspectors don't want the realtor in the home Depending on the state that you live in, there are different rules. Here in Maryland, we're asking for only 3 individuals in the home at one time. So if there's a buyer, an inspector, and a realtor, sure, we've made that number. But if there are 2 buyers, or if the buyer brought a trusted friend or family member to walk through this inspection with them, that may mean that the realtor will be outside in the car just waiting, but accessible by phone. So figure out what the process would be ahead of time, whether or not you can bring a friend or a family member to go through that process with you. And definitely if there are 2 buyers and the inspector, you know who's going to be there during that time. So you don't have to absorb all the information that the inspector is giving you, and it can get overwhelming. You just finished getting your contract accepted. Now it's the home inspection. And let me give you a sense too of time. You will know what time you're going to be actually doing your home inspection, because it's a part of the contract. So when you submit the contract to purchase the home, typically there's going to be an addenda that says you're going to have a home inspection. And in that addenda, it's going to say what period of time you're going to do it in. Because we're in a pretty fast market right now, most inspections are occurring within 7 to 10 days. So it's pretty fast. I had a buyer whose contract was just accepted on Saturday, and today was the home inspection. And so once the inspector gives us the report back, which will be tomorrow, that's Wednesday, we actually have 7 days from the day the contract was accepted to respond to the seller with any potential repairs that we would like them to do. So this is usually a pretty quick process. So while you're there, you want to pay as much attention as you can to what the inspector is sharing with you. If it's the inspector that wants you to come at the end, what they're going to be doing is going over with you what they found, good things that they found, as well as not so good things. The inspection I was a part of today, the inspector kept telling my buyer, this is such a solid home. It was a resale. It was a house built in 1966, but it was well maintained. There was a brand new furnace system in it. There were brand new windows. The appliances were updated. So the inspector gave my buyer a really good sense that she made a good decision in making an offer on this particular home. Okay, so hearing the inspector's impression is really, really valuable, but be ready to ask any questions that you may have while they're there and you have their full attention. And what I'll also say is most inspectors, they have no problem with you following up. Let's say the next day you forgot to ask them a question. And that's why when you do select a home inspector, you want to make sure that they're going to be accessible to you after the actual home inspection. So you can give them a call, ask a question if it was something you forgot, if it wasn't very clear to you in the report. Definitely make sure that you could give them a call, send them a message to get some clarity on what they found or what they may have gone over with you. Okay, so know what to expect during the home inspection and actually be there. And one more tip, while you're there, please give them your full attention. Try not to be on your phone. Try not to be kind of doing work at the same time. So really carve out this time. It's a huge investment financially that you're about to make. And you want to make sure that you are asking every possible question you have about the home while the inspector is there. Okay. All righty. Number 5, understand the report and use it to negotiate the best deal. So as I mentioned, after the home inspector takes a look at the property while you're there, he's gonna, excuse me. The inspector will verbally give you some information about what they found that is of concern that you may want to ask the seller to address, right? But you're going to get all of that information in a report. I have seen home inspection reports that are around 7 to 10 pages, and I've also seen reports that are around 30 to 40 pages. It depends on how many pictures they took. It depends on what they actually include in their reports. Some inspectors, they just have general maintenance tips for you, and that's going to be really handy after you've moved into the home and you're wondering, well, what should I do with the furnace and what kinds of things should I do with this refrigerator? You want to be able to reference that. So those reports, the sizes of them do vary. And that's one of the things you're going to ask the inspector when you're doing your due diligence or your interviews. Well, how long are your typical reports? And they'll let you know that. So with a thorough inspection report in your hand, you now have the information you need to make a well-informed decision about what you will do next. And what we mean by that is a home inspection is a contingency in your contract. What is a contingency? It is something that you have to move forward to have done, which is a home inspection. And that is one of the milestones in your real estate purchase process where you get to say, yes, I'm going to move forward and purchase this home, or I may not move forward and purchase the home based on what you found. Okay. So there will always be defects in homes. None of them are perfect, even in new construction. But you may choose not to worry about some of those items that are relatively minor or inexpensive to repair. But when it comes to larger, more costly defects like roofing repairs, broken appliances, foundation issues, or extensive water damage, the inspector report will help you understand the problem and some possible solutions. So make the best of this collective and valuable information that you're going to have in your hand. They typically will email it to you, and they'll also email it to your realtor. And you'll have it. Sometimes you'll print it out. I like paper too, so I usually keep that as a part of my paper file, and I walk through that with my buyer clients. So make the best use of that information. Talk to your inspector about anything that you don't understand or that you didn't remember. Ask questions. Do your research to learn more about how larger defects can be addressed. What are some of the solutions for these problems that may have come up on your inspection? What is the estimate for those repairs? Because typically you will be asking the seller to make those repairs. So you're going to have a sense of, well, we've asked them to make 3 or 4 repairs or to address some issues that came across in the actual home inspection. So you could decide to request sometimes a financial concession, meaning you may say, hey, in lieu of making this repair, can you give me X amount of dollars? And it's something that you will take care of after you've purchased the home. You might want to negotiate a home warranty. So home warranties are sometimes offered when the home is on the market, and those are limited warranties. They tend to cover electrical, plumbing, heating, air conditioning, appliances. It costs a certain amount of money, which the seller will buy. And what I mean by that, they tend to run, depending on where you are, anywhere from maybe $400 to $600 for the actual warranty. And you as the buyer would be able to utilize that warranty if any issues were to arise. Let's say with the dishwasher, 4 weeks after you moved into the property. You would be able to call that number on the home warranty, and based on a already pre-negotiated deductible, it's kind of like insurance. You're going to pay $75 or $100 for a technician to come out, assess the problem, and make the repair. One flat fee. And that's what a home warranty does for you. So based on the home inspection, if the warranty wasn't already offered, you may request that the seller purchase a home warranty, or you may ask the seller to fix some or all of the issues that you found, and your realtor will guide you through that process. Now, there are some buyers, after they've gotten a report and they really understand it, and they may have a discussion with their realtors or some other trusted advisor, they may decide, if that is a part of the contract, that they just don't want to move forward and purchase that home. And there are some steps that you will take, and your realtor will advise you of that as well. So most importantly, just keep in mind that your inspector represents you, not the seller. You've hired them, and they have your best interests at heart. So make sure you remember that, and with the right professional in your corner, you can be sure that you're going to get the most value out of the purchase that you're about to embark on. Okay, so hopefully those 5 pieces were super duper helpful, the 5 tips for your home inspection. And we're going to open it up for questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Gersha. That was wonderful, wonderful information. And I remember when I started in real estate, I really didn't understand the power of the home ownership and how important it is for the process. So you did an excellent job breaking that down. Can you share with the students and the people that's on the training today,
Mhm.
how much does would this cost? Is this paid out of their pocket? Is it paid from the mortgage?
Okay,
Um, if you can explain to them where
sure.
it happens, and I mean, you did say like in the beginning, but like how much
Yep,
should they expect to pay for it? Hmm.
absolutely. So the home inspection is an expense for the buyer. And here in Maryland, our home inspections can run anywhere from around $350 to around $550. And every inspection really depends on the size of the home. So if you're purchasing a townhome, which may have 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, my client today, her home inspection was $310. But if you're purchasing a home that may have 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a garage, it's a bigger home inspection. So the inspector may ask you, well, how many square feet is your home? And they probably have different price points depending on the size of the home. So you do want to find that out. And every home inspector costs a different amount as well. Home inspectors that bring two inspectors at the same time, I love those because they work quicker than if there was one inspector. It may cost a little bit more because there are two folks out there at the same time. Another piece that I didn't mention is another inspection that is oftentimes a requirement in your contracts. They are here in Maryland, are what we call a termite inspection, but it's really officially called a wood destroying insect inspection. So you usually have that inspector come out at the same time, and they're going to look to see whether there are any termites in the property, if there's any termite damage, because termites actually eat wood, and you would see that in the basement area of the property. So oftentimes they're both there at the same time. The termite inspector, they're going to take a look at the property for you there, and they're going to give you a report. Most lenders require that report because they want to make sure that there's no termite infestation in the property. So that's a second type of home inspection or property inspection that usually will occur around the same time.
Thank you. Are there anyone that has any questions? You can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself to ask questions. You can unmute yourself. Um, while they're unmuting, I just also you made me think about another part of the inspection when you're talking about the termite is the radon.
Yes.
Can you touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So radon is a colorless, odorless gas that comes from the earth into the home. So you say, well, how does that happen? It typically happens through the sump pump. So I know everybody doesn't always have sump pumps in their home or in the state where they live, but a sump pump actually diverts water from the earth or the ground from coming into your home and going out into the backyard or the front yard. Okay, so the sump pump is actually a hole, and then there's a mechanism in there. That's typically where, if there was radon, it would come into the home. So a radon inspection is when the inspector, and it's usually the same home inspector, but you need to request that. They leave like a little, it's small nowadays, it's a very small little computer, and it needs to be in the property at least 48 hours to take in any of the air, usually in the lowest part of the home in the basement, and they will actually get a report that is printed out. And there are guidelines by the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, that tells you what's a safe level of radon in a home. See, radon is outside. We walk around and there's radon out there. But if there's a concentrated amount of radon in a property, it could be deadly. It could be cancerous. So you want to probably make sure that you opt to have a radon test because you can't see it, you can't smell it, and nobody can really tell you if there's radon in a property unless you actually have that testing done. Now, if there is radon in the property in Maryland, the contract says that it is the seller's responsibility to remediate the radon. So you pay for the test to make sure that there is no radon in the property. But if it is radon in the property, it is the seller's responsibility to remediate it. So there's this whole system that's put in place, and it vents it outside of the property. And it costs for you to maybe have a radon test. Because my buyer today had one. It's about an additional $150 in your expense when you're doing your home inspection. So ask that question ahead of time. How much is the property inspection? And then how much will your radon inspection cost? And how much will your termite inspection? Here, our termite inspections run anywhere from around $35 to $85. Okay, and those are expenses for you as a buyer, because this is all part of you doing your due diligence to understand really the health of the property that you're purchasing. Kind of call it the health. It's like a physical.
Thank you. You're so knowledgeable. Are there any questions? I'll be quiet now. Any questions? You can unmute.
I know you guys got some questions.
All right. No questions whatsoever. I guess you were very thorough, like you said.
Oh, wow.
All right. Any comments? Somebody give me a comment. Any comments? Any thought processes?
Okay. Thank you, Zakia.
All right. All right. Can you wait, hold on one second. Yes, you are phenomenal. I'm seeing that. Ben, you got any comments? Daressa, any comments? Nakia, any comments? Any comments? You can unmute yourself if you want. You don't have to put it in the chat bar.
No, I don't have any comments right now. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right.
No, I don't have any comments, but I do want to thank you for all that phenomenal information that you provided.
Thank you, Daressa.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all.
All right. We're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. While you have the expert in front of you, who is very thorough, very knowledgeable, just like we said when we introduced her, how she wants to make sure everything is clear, and you did an excellent job at doing that today, making sure that everything was clear, Gersha. So clear that they don't even have questions. Which is
I'm sure when it's time for your inspection, some of this may come back to you. And if you do have questions, you're going to have an amazing realtor partner a realtor. They're one of my fellow realtor partners in this program, and they're going to be able to walk you through this process and give you such a level of really comfort, because they're going to be able to partner with a very experienced home inspector. So if you don't know of an inspector right now, never fear. Your realtor has a lot of experience. I tell people we do this all the time. You do this once every year when you purchase a home. So definitely make sure that you connect with your realtor early on so that you can do your homework and make the best decision you can on the inspector that's going to help you through the process. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gersha. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Great knowledge of the inspection process. Happy holidays to everyone. I see the happy Thanksgiving going up. Hope everyone enjoy their family and enjoy their holidays on this week. And Gersha, one more time, thank you so much. You are phenomenal. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys again. Good luck again. And I look forward to hearing all the great news about everybody's journey to home ownership. Awesome.
All right.